The Lecker Rugby Pod Instant Reaction with Harry Jones. Only on Megaphone Rugby.
What do you feel if you built your entire rugby narrative around the idea that you never, ever, ever want England to win, and you find yourself punching the air and exhorting the blood of the saints of Northampton to rise and repel the invasion of the French from a foreign shore, and you start hurling imprecations and oaths against these said invaders, and you want babyface assassin Finn Baxter, who must be the love child of Cooper's Visa, to get over the line. Listen, a proper win and well-deserved. In no way be fooled by early stats or the cacophony of how immortal some players are on the French side. This was a well-wrought victory. It was percentaged. It was analyzed. It even had some slippage. A couple of kicks go over and it's even easier. So, no, this was one of those times where you have to execute under pressure at the very end. On a line out, you bring in your set piece guy, Jamie George. Jamie finds Ollie. Ollie has to reel that thing in. It's squirming. The French know that they have a referee that's going single-digit penalties on both sides. He is not blowing it up, is the Georgian referee. And so you have to execute it, get down to earth. The French come early, it's still okay. Transfer, Jamie, Ollie, Jamie. Jamie takes it, and there is some jagooing going on. Referee's still going to let that go. Alex Mitchell on for the whole game, who must have been staking a claim for Lions. He just had a cadence in his head, and he rightfully reached in just at the right time, and there was just enough space. And the old warhorse, Eliot Daly, scrambles in for the win. And then, even though it seems like just the easiest kick in the world, it must not have been for Finn Smith. A word on Finn Smith. He grew into the game. I thought he found Freeman beautifully in that connection, and that's the value of cohesion. But look at the stats in the middle of the match, and you wondered about the ability of England to close it out because they were playing again in the wrong spaces. By the end, that territory had sort of equalized. Possession was 50-50. Territory was at 47-53. For long stretches of the match up until about an hour in, it was 62-63. So mistakes were even, but they were falling more on the English. Key stat as well is the kicks. Kicks out of hand 45 times by the English, and 45 mostly good. A few wayward kicks, but it was the French who sprayed it a bit, and their 37 kicks were not as high quality. Meters run, a distraction. 606 by the French, and a lot of them winding, weaving, almost misty runs. A lot of them worked out, almost despite the run, actually. England only mastered about 477, so there was that difference. But turnovers lost 11-19. 19 lost, and a lot of those were just dropped cold, but also brought on by pressure. And they developed, even though the French used a lot more energy, which is unlike them, they developed the same number of line breaks, and the English carriers beat more tackles with some really strong carries in there of note. So, questioning my own integrity, my own insanity, 4 tries to 3, and that 4th try bringing me out of my seat, punching the air like some bizarre person, some creature that I don't recognize. The game itself was quite interesting. I thought that you looked at the early exchanges were just some charge downs. There were some long kicks. They felt each other out. Scrum penalties were won, but no scrum really took dominance. Ramos missed a kick, and even when he missed a kick, I thought it was over because he's so clean. But the good tight phases for England there. It took a long time for the teams to score, and they couldn't find that final play, the French. There was a drop by Dupont on the break from Ramos that made everyone chuckle because it's so refreshing to see the man just have to admit that he's immortal. He also got stripped by Tom Curry deep in the red zone, another one that we should pay note to. Inexperience of Marcus, he had a lot of time at 15, but he sometimes took the wrong option. And that one time in counterattack, he was blocked by the foot of Benassi. Alex Mitchell had to clean up a lot of messes, and that boy earned his pay this time. And that is the danger of this French setup, especially with the Bordeaux influence. Jalibert, I thought, grew into the game, probably should not have been taken off near the end. This persistence they have in shuffling around and having faith that nine is as good a 10 as a 10 is not true. And when you mix and match, it just gums it up. So that fractured play does result in a very sneaky Pinot to Luo Biabiri try, where there's, and Ramos ends up making the harder kick, and that's just like him. Gros, let's shout out to Gros and Crow, these rhyming guys in the French team who have incredible wheels. Gros goes all the way back as a prop to clean up a kick. At this point, the relentless attack by England actually gets them back in, and there are so many obstructs and pretendings going on that at some point the referee just sort of decides, I'm going to let most of this go. The problem at this point, even 7-all, as the second half starts, is England has been playing 35% in the French half. So every mistake that is falling on them is falling too heavily. So the question becomes, when you have coaches and you go into the sheds and you wonder what comes out, is it looked like England did make a series of adaptations and adjustments. Now, Mavaka came out on fire for the French, and even though Curry did strip Dupont down deep in the red zone in the early part of the second half, and there was a strip back of Marcus by Louis Bielberry, it seemed like England was trying to play percentage rugby, and the spills were not just accidents by France, those were brought upon. 10-7, the French go up, and there's a snaffle that really they have to get their minds around. The cleaners come harder and lower, and actually for the first time in a long time, the English bench seemed to add a bit of zip at the ruck. Freeman aerials were actual things of beauty, and so at the point where you see the UBB connections, you also see the Northampton Saints connection. So it was almost a battle of these club connections with the spine of Toulouse, the back line of Bordeaux, and some big heavies by La Rochelle. And on the English side, the Saintish emphasis. Ollie Chesham, I thought, came on carrying like a beast and made a statement for himself. But you felt like when Babyface scored at 19-18, that there was really something working here, some kind of offset in the upset. And the exits still were a little bit shaky by both sides. Sometimes they tried a little bit too much. But at 19-18, with 72 minutes to go, you wondered, are we watching a repeat of 7 or 8 collapses late game? Slightholm couldn't field the bouncing ball, probably just had to make that work. He probably just had to take and clatter, man, ball, all, shoes, whatever, do something. You just have to, because if you don't touch anything and Pinot makes it look harder than it had to be, but in the end, Leo Biabiri scoots in, then you thought, well, that's what just happened. This is what always happens, and we're watching a repeat. But in the end, it was that imperfect execution at the end. So what do I think about that? I think that the French have struggled when someone can call them on their own bullshit. When their superpower is questioned, when they're bully, big pack, 142 kgs, 145, 148, and that's probably a little bit cheating. They're probably about 150. When you can stand them up, George Martin take a bow, Maro Itoje too. You don't get pinged unnecessarily at the ruck. You just front up with Tom Willis, I got to say, playing a man-sized role in there. Did not look like someone with just a few minutes on the field. He looked like he proper belonged amongst the old Reeds and so forth. And so I think this is kind of a match where the French did miss Olivon. They missed, I think they missed a trick by not keeping Jalibert on. He looked like he had plenty of fire still and might have been able to sneak something else. At the end, though, proper match. Loved it. Enjoyed it. Still questioning my psyche, my sanity by enjoying an English win. Lekker.
The Lekker Rugby Pod instant reaction with Harry Jones. Only on Megaphone Rugby.